lesson number 1 is computer fundamentals. So in this one we will just see what we are going to cover in this part. So I have divided it into different parts. The first part contains computer fundamentals, some input output devices and storage devices, all those things. So let's see one by one what are included in these portions. So let's go through the summary. So today in this video you will be able to see definition of computer. You will be able to see the definition of computer. You can see what are different hardware and softwares, and with them you will be able to see the examples of the same. Next, objectives of the chapters. Next one is working of a computer, how computer works, that is included as portion 1.1. Inside that you can see again hardware and software description, and then comes the block diagram and its descriptions. 1.2 that contains components of a computer. Inside that you will be able to know about input devices, CPU, memory, output devices, all those things. We'll be learning about, this is the module name, basic computing. Okay, so you can see here you have got this basic computing as the module, and the chapter which is computer fundamentals. So if you read in this portion you will get to know what is a computer. So here you can see a computer is an electronic computer is an electronic machine that takes an input, processes it to produce the desired output. Okay, so it takes some input and it do something, some processing happens, and then you will get an output. Okay, so if you write a note, you can write like input and some processing and some kind of output you will get. This is the work done by a computer. Now every computer is a combination of hardware and software. So these are the two terms that are being introduced here. They are hardware and software. So what is difference between them? Let's see. The physical components of a computer that can be seen and touched make the hardware. That means physical components of a computer, okay, that you can touch, they are known as touch, and tangible, they are known as hardware. For example, CPU is one among them. If you have told, not the laptop, you have a computer system at your home, the CRT monitor and other things, the CPU was an extra piece of box that you used to get. So that is, you can touch the monitor of a computer system, you can touch the keyboard, you can touch the printer. These are all known as hardware, or you can call it as peripheral devices. But what we are now saying, what is hardware and software, and it's another name for hardware. The input to a computer is given in the form of instructions. Okay, so when you give some information to the system, to the computer, you will see it is given in the form of, for example, CPU is one among them. If you have told, not the laptop, you have a computer system at your home, the CRT monitor and other things, the CPU was an extra piece of box that you used to get. So that is a hardware. A monitor, you can touch the monitor of a computer system, you can touch the keyboard, you can touch the printer. These are all known as hardware, or you can call it as peripheral devices. But what we are now saying, what is hardware and software, and it's another name for hardware. The input to a computer is given in the form of instructions. Okay, so when you give some information to the system, to the computer, you will see it is given in the form of, It is given in the form of instructions. These set of instructions that we give to the computer to perform some particular task constitutes a program. That means this set of instructions, you also call it as programs. Okay, not a dance program, not those kind of programs. These are set of instruction. Like if I want my computer or my system to add two numbers, okay, add 1 and 2, this is my instruction, and add 1 and 2. This is one kind of instruction that I give to my system. And some kind of, and after doing the sum, you have to give or print this output to the screen. This is the way I speak to my computer. So they are known as program or program. Okay, set of instructions. So you will learn about this program later, the later portion. So many such programs together form a software. So what is a software? Software you can't touch. Okay, these are the instructions that is being written. You can't touch this software or these programs. So together they are known as softwares. For example, operating system. You cannot touch an operating system. You can just know what is an operating system. It is Windows or Linux or whatever it is. You can't touch Linux. Okay, so that makes a software. Antivirus, you cannot touch it. They are programs or set of instructions, you can say. MS Office is again software. Computer games are software. You can play games, but you cannot touch them, like your output devices or input devices. Okay, so we will come to know what are they in detail. So that is the first portion about computer. We came to know what it is and what are the different hardware and softwares. Now let's go to this objectives. So what you are going to learn in this particular chapter. After reading this lesson, you will be able to learn the basic components of a computer and their functions. Okay, differentiate input, output and storage devices. You will come to know which are the input output devices and which are the storage devices. Describe various memory accessing modes. So you will learn about this also. Memory accessing modes. Explain different port used to connect various components of a computer and classify the computer and also differentiate. But as I told you in this video, we will be just covering these first two things. They are basic components of a computer and their functions, and also input, output and storage devices. The other three comes in other part of the video. Okay, not this video. Okay, working of a computer, how a computer works. So let's read. Working of a computer, that is your 1.1. To function properly, a computer needs both hardware and software. Hardware consists of mechanical and electronic devices, which we can see and touch. The same thing what they have told you, the definition, which we can see and touch. Okay, the software consists of programs, as I told you just now, and the operating system and the data that are there in the memory and storage devices. Hardware and software, the basic differences can be touched. Okay, and software cannot be touched. And you can say what are the hardwares. Input output devices, input and output devices, or devices that are in the computer. And if you say take software, these are the programs or set of instructions or something that is happening inside the operating system. Paint, all these are known as software. Okay, so these things are Paint, you might have heard, MS Office, all these are software. Okay, you can see here, this is the block diagram of how a computer works. Input, some processing happens here, and you get an output. That's already in the first portion we have seen. This is input. Something has to be fed to the computer. Based on the given information, it will work or it will process the data what is given in the raw form, and it will give you a processed output, or some data in a converted form it will give you. That is known as output. So you have got for the processing you have got CPU, and the CPU, inside CPU these are the portions, that is control unit, ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, and memory unit. Okay, you can also refer to CU, ALU, and memory unit. These are the portions inside your CPU. So each has different specialties or functions, and this input output is done by input devices, and this output is output happens through output devices. We'll come to know about them. This is the block diagram of a computer. Receive input, process the information, produce the output. These are the three things, and we also have to store this information. Unless we store it, we cannot get access to the work that is being done. So we have different devices. They are keyboard, mouse, scanner. These are used for inputting to feed some data into the system, and these are process information, as just now I have told you, CU, ALU, the CPU. Okay, CPU uses the ALU, CU, all these things for processing the information, and to produce the output you have devices like monitor, printer, and all those things. To store the information you have hard disk, you have CD, pen drives and all, but if you have to store the information, these are the basic devices: hard disk, you can see, use CD, pen drives, all those things. So here it is written, computer hardware falls into two categories. One is processing hardware, and another one is peripheral devices. Processing hardware consists of CPU, where the data processing is done. Okay, next one is peripheral devices. What does this do? This allows people to interact with CPU. Okay, so hardware consists of CPU, and the peripheral devices allow people to interact with CPU. These are the two computer hardware categories. So these are, they are working, and together they help the computer to do so many tasks. Next, topic number is 1.2, components of a computer. So let's see one by one which are the components. Computer has four main parts. The first one is input device. So as the name suggests, input device, and let's see what are the other things. Input device. Next category is CPU, then comes memory, and then comes output devices. So these are the four categories of computer. Okay, so let's one by one see what these things are. So input devices, first one is input. As the name suggests, it is very clear what it is used for. It is for inputting some data, or if we want to give some instruction to the computer, we will be using this input data, through which data will be fed to the computer. Okay, see the definition. These are the devices that are used to accept data and instructions from the user. So as a user cannot always use our language. Like if I am the user, I can't use English for the computer to understand what I want it to do. For that, I need to use some devices and feed my data into the computer, and that devices which helps me doing that is keyboard, mouse, scanner. These are the examples of input devices. So these, using this I can feed my data into. For example, if I want to add two numbers like 1 and 2, I have to use a keyboard. I can feed 1 is my first number, 2 is my second number, and whatever is the answer of this one, this I will get through output device, that we will see in the next portion. So this 1 and 2 can be fed through the keyboard. Next one is mouse. Mouse, it's usually used for clicking, selecting options, all those things. Next one is scanner. Scanner is for whatever from outside you can feed it into your computer through scanner. So it is also another kind of input device. So we will see one by one in detail what these things means and how they look like and all those things. Let's go to the next component, that is CPU. So what is CPU? CPU, the full form of CPU is Central Processing Unit. It is known as brain of the computer. Very important question. The brain of the computer, which part of what is known as brain of the computer? That is CPU, Central Processing Unit. It controls the complete working of the computer. Whatever happens, it's all done with the help of CPU. Now next component is memory. The data and instructions are stored in this component of the computer, hard disk, DVD, pen drive, all those things. So what is the use of memory? Why we use our memory? We use memory to store some instructions, or memory is used for storing the information. For a human being, what is the use of memory? It is used for storing information in the form of some data or some dates or whatever it is. So but used based on this memory, later decisions will be taken. The same way computer also needs this data, whatever, so many data are there filled inside that or fed to that. So it needs some space to store it. So to store those information, it uses hard disk, it uses DVD, CD, pen drive, all those things. These are the memory devices. Examples are these. Next one is output devices. So already we have seen we are giving some input to the computer system, that is we are giving some kind of input. So if we give input, we have to get some output also. Input, we give some number, like for example, I told you here already we have fed 1 and 2 in the system. So and I need the system to do addition or perform addition on that. So my answer for this part of the instruction is like I have to get 3 as the output. So if I want 3 as the output, this data has to be shown to me after doing. So some devices help me see this data, and so those devices are known as output devices. And some devices that help me do that is monitor, through which I can see the information what is done in the system, and I will get the information in the form through monitor. Another one is printer. Printer is another output device. That means whatever is done, I can take it in the form of a paper or printout form. So you might have seen like I mean giving some information or my information for the admission process or whatever, and I'm filling a form. After that I need it in the form of a printout. So I use this device printer for that, and everybody and most of us are using this option printer. One or the other time we need this. And these are the basic examples of monitor output devices: monitor, printer, all those things. And in addition to this, we have so many other details. So we will just see what are the details of this output device in the later.